Hello, and welcome to my gaming experience. I'm Sword Rush, and in a continuing theme of difficult games to play, I'd like to present a new game called Furry, which was released earlier this year. While I was initially excited about the game, I believe that energy has died down the longer I played the game. Furry promised a number of different things directly and indirectly. Indirectly, there was this promise of stunning visuals and fantastic soundtrack that I kept hearing from friends. And the imagery for the game is intriguing through its use of wild colors and neon brightness and overall futuristic overtones. The environments don't disappoint. And combining this with a solid synth soundtrack makes for a possibly fantastic playground to get lost in. Directly speaking though, the game is not shy about letting you know its own difficulty. It minces no words on this point. If you choose regular difficulty, the game is basically on hard mode. But if you want to cheapen the experience, never unlock anything cool, be a loser in every way, we added this other, lesser difficulty so you can just pat yourself on the back at the end. And that's just for the beginning of the game. In fact, throughout the game, getting knocked down by a boss, because, by the way, there are only boss battles in this game, you will be rewarded with a mocking statement about how bad you are at playing Furry. While it isn't uncommon to have players prance around and trumpeting how their friends are bad at a game, it's not often that the game will do this for you, and to you, repeatedly. Not just repeatedly, but literally the same one or two lines every time in cutscenes you can't skip, stupidly. This brings us to what I didn't enjoy about the game. To begin with, rather dull writing and an uninspired plot. Of the 12 bosses in the main portion of the game, only 2 felt like characters I'd be interested in finding out more about. One is a father who is teaching his son about the value of honor and duty, and the other is a man who seeks to defeat you in combat as a means to improve himself or you, almost as a mentor might for a student. These battles were exciting, and their character motivations relatable. All the rest of the dialogue, though, felt like regurgitated cat vomit. Stereotypical boss drivel you see in every game, almost cartoonishly posturing about their battle arena. I might be annoyed to have to deal with it to get to the battling sequences if it wasn't just flat bored. Furry's plot left me wanting in so many ways. It starts out interestingly enough with being freed from your restraints so you can attempt to escape from prison. The first boss, naturally enough, is your torturer. The second boss, another prisoner, one who is completely insane. Then an old man who could nearly be your future self, almost. And then following that is one of your victims. And then the man who captured you. Finally, the warden is there to stop you herself. Your next boss would have been the prison's architect, but he is the one who actually set you free, so you don't have to fight him. But this is kind of where everything goes off the rails. Number 8 is some sniper who enjoys hunting, and then some guy who spent his whole life training to kill you. Finally, to be free of the prison, their last defense is some random girl they just pulled off the street somewhere. After the warden, the game stops making sense. That is, until I reach the final ending, which I won't spoil here, but it involves making a choice that disappointed me on every level and made me want to turn the game off instead of actually completing it. So, inescapable cutscenes and dialogue aside, I'd hoped the game's salvation would lie in its bullet hell battles and provide a different kind of escape. Unfortunately, most of the battles felt repetitious. Of your 2 weapons, a katana and unlimited ammo... a katana, and then you have this unlimited ammo single-shot ray gun that you can charge up. There are no interesting interplays between them at all. Combat amounts to just dodging your opponent's ray guns while shooting your own, and then if they get close enough, to do their short-range attacks, you dodge and counter-attack with your sword. So, it's just... the whole thing is just memorizing a few patterns for dodging, and there's no real nuance between types of attacks that the bosses have, and then practicing until your reflexes are good enough. That's it. Reflexes. That's the whole game. There's no interesting strategy to it at all. So, Furry's battling difficulty was unable to... the difficulty in battling was mostly in being unable to control camera angles. And so you'd lose a lot of your depth perspectives, and your dodge mechanic would sometimes fail to activate immediately on command, so getting the timing for things was difficult because I mean, just finding the solution was a nightmare sometimes because you weren't sure if the game was actually going to activate your dodge when you push the button. So, does the visuals and the soundtrack make up for this? Honestly, the visuals did little to distract me while trudging my way through 12 boss battles and the weirdly empty walking sections between those battles, because you see, they force you to walk through the environment to get from one boss to the other, and there's nothing in those environments at all. This would have been interesting if it was something like Shadow of the Colossus, where it was this huge open world and all of this kind of place to explore, but this is a prison, it's very small, and you can also just push a button and the game will just, you know, like, shuttle you on through those sections and you don't have to do the walking yourself. Which made me think, what was the point in including those sections at all if it doesn't matter? So, I also rarely got to enjoy the soundtrack, since I was typically over-focused on nailing the timings of attacks, and my brain would just filter out all the noise that wasn't an audio indicator, you know, or clue for combat, so that I could dodge. So when I was halfway through the game, I was prepared to give this game a rank of maybe a C or even a B. But just like my in-game ranks for beating each of the bosses the first time through, I'm gonna have to give it a D, and just suggest buying Furry's soundtrack instead of the game. Thank you all for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again next time.